So let's talk about this new, Grizzlies squad. This Grizzlies squad has been amazing, and I want to talk about it today. This Grizzlies squad now with John Morant have won 4 games in a row. They haven't lost. John Morant is still undefeated in this NBA season, and he's been one of the best players in the NBA at just basically taking back everything that was his. First, I want to say shout out to the Grizzlies. They were probably spent a lot of time, trying to be ready for when Ja came back because that transition could have been much harder than it actually was. For a lot of teams, when their best player leaves, it normally creates like this uncomfortableness, right, throughout the entire squad because it's like the players are trying to fight each other for roster spots. Like the backup point guard will normally be trying to show himself off, and other players, which normally don't have that big of a role, will try to really show out so that they get a bigger role in absence of a star player. Now with Ja, that wasn't really the case. Most of the point guards in his team are vets, and most of the primary guards are players which already have a big position in the Grizzlies squad, and the players which did get minutes in Ja's absence, they haven't made a fuzz about Ja being on the team. And honestly, this has been a very good thing. Ja, throughout these past few games, has been electric, just absolutely scorching defenses. And the reason why Ja is so good with Memphis is not because of what Memphis does for him, is what he does for Memphis. Now, I know that I say that, and that's a strong statement because saying that no, you're the team and the players around you don't really matter as much as you do to them. But it's true because when John leaves, the essence of the Grizzlies is gone. Ja brings electricness, he brings a leader, he brings scoring, but most of all, he brings a dynamic to the game which the Memphis team is built around. The Memphis team has one big defender in Jaren Jackson Jr., and then a bunch of, floor spacers around them. These include people like Jaren Jackson, which can space the floor, Desmond Bane. You have guys like Luke Kennard sometimes, and all of these players are meant to maximize the effectiveness of John Morant. And they're meant so that John Morant can maximize their effectiveness too. This is shown because Ja has routinely become a playmaker, and especially recently has been able to have playmaking chops where he makes his team look extremely good. I believe that Ja is honestly one of these players where it's like we just had to see him on the court again to be able to understand what he brought to the Grizzlies. Because even if you saw them losing and you saw what they didn't have, it was hard to see how much Ja actually added to this team. And dare I say that he adds a hell of a lot. He adds all these things, all these resources. He's so good at just being himself and at being able to wave off defenses and completely shift the court through his driving ability. What I'm talking about is that Ja will go into the lane, right? Go into 3 different defenders and then make a crazy pass out, just creating a whole bunch of space and a wide open 3. On other things, he's not scared to throw lobs, to make the right pass, to put himself in uncomfortable positions for himself where his teammates might be more comfortable by not trying to score every bucket. If we're being honest, John Morant, with how he plays and the way that he is, he could score around 35 points per game if he really wanted to. But his ability to really play make and see the floor around him has really set him apart from everybody, especially from his peers and the other point guards in the West. I don't think Ja's making an all-star game this year. I don't think he should. He's missed way too many games to actually do so. But I do think that it is a good thing to look at Ja and to be like, that dude is the face of his franchise. That dude is who you want to ride for, die for, be there with. And the guy that I would like to be my leader in the NBA would be Ja. Because he is good, he's smart, he's ride or die, and this dude has shown everything good qualities of a leader. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the rest of the Grizzlies because honestly, they've been doing pretty good too. The other Grizzly is Desmond Bane. He's obviously the second star of this team, or at least he is the second scorer. He's mostly a 3-point shooter, but when in Ja's absence, he was forced to be the main engine of offense. Spoiler alert: he isn't that good at running on offense, but he definitely did pretty good for what was expected of him. When Ja came back and through the past 4 games, he has still maintained his averages and even had better averages than when Ja left. And honestly, he hasn't seen a decrease in statistics. He's only gone up, especially after Ja came back. I do think that giving Desmond Bane a bigger role has been to the benefit of the team. And I think that a big reason for that has been that Desmond Bane this season has been more open to making the right pass if needed. This has obviously created more offense, more fluidity, and I do think that if Ja would have never been suspended, Desmond Bane would have never been forced to grow that area of his game. The other player which has been going crazy, and basically the second star for the Grizzlies, is Jaren Jackson Jr. Even though he doesn't block as many shots anymore, but I do have a theory for that. Even though he doesn't block as many shots anymore, he does average a good amount of points, a good amount of rebounds, and he's been playing well this season. I do feel like he's been suffered the most from Ja's absence because there's not as many people going to the rim now. And I know that might sound funny, but it's like when Ja plays defense, a lot of people blow by him, so they rely on Jaren Jackson Jr. to block a lot of shots. But when you have a good defense around you, like Rudy Gobert, let's say right now in 2023, when you have a good defense around you, a shot blocker is only there to clean up certain looks. And I feel like with Ja being out for a lot of the time, there isn't as many small guards going to the paint as normal because Ja doesn't play defense. Well, he does, but he's pretty bad at it. And when he does play defense, other guards can just normally blow right by him and make sure that he is not a factor defensively. This has caused huge problems for Memphis, but the fact that they have the best rim protector in the league and last year's Defensive Player of the Year in their backcourt has always been a big thing for them to make sure that this is not a actually, really big problem. Now, in this season, since they have had so many different lineups, Marcus Smart is normally running the point guard for them, and they've had so much better guard defense, it has shown that they have great guard defense now, and it's become much easier for Jaren Jackson Jr. to block less shots. Now, will I say that his abilities reduce? No, because I don't think that's true. But I will say that, honestly, Jaren Jackson Jr. has been in a bit of a slump this season in terms of his efficiency and how many shots he's blocked. I will say that that's probably due to the fact that he's had to take so much of a bigger role on offense, so it's probably affecting him and his stamina and his minutes. But I do believe that Jaren Jackson Jr. has played well this season, considering the circumstance that your best player wasn't even fully there, Now, with the Grizzlies, the final question, and what really tells me about all of this is just the fact that they've won 4 straight. They were the worst team in the league at one point. They were doing terribly. They were completely pessimistic, and now they've won 4 straight. This is Ja Morant. This is his effect. This is what he's done. And I believe that doing that, you're forced 4 games back and giving your team this beam of hope of, yes, you can win through me. I feel like that's a treasure that Ja will always be remembered for doing, and will never, that will never be something that will be taken for granted by the Grizzlies, and it shouldn't be. So, yeah.